Today's official visit.
The administration of Buhari, as it lives, is reassured of at least two things. One is that the major legacies of the administration.
Spring meeting opens in Washington, D.C. International Monetary Fund sees great prospects in Nigerian economy.
For Nigeria, our forecast is one of the most stable ones. For this year, we have an increase, a slight increase.
Alleged illegal sale of crude oil. House of Reps begins investigation.
This book, I am going to give it to you to study it and look into it in-depthly so that you will not know what is going on in Nigeria.
Plus, worshippers narrowly escaped death as truck runs into a mosque in Suleja. Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I'm Henry John and we're live in Abuja. Adiola Komiakere joins me from Lagos. Thank you. Komiakere joins me from Lagos. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Medina, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, on a private visit. This will be his last visit to the Arabian nation as Nigeria's head of state. State House correspondent Adam Musambu reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrives Prince Mohammed bin Abdulaziz International Airport, Medina, about 5 o'clock Tuesday evening local time. On hand to receive him was a high-powered Saudi Arabian government delegation led by the Deputy Governor of Medina, Saud ibn Khalid Al-Faisal Al-Saud. Others were Nigeria's ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Minister of the FCT, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, National Security Advisor, Director General, National Intelligence Agency, and other senior government officials. While in Medina, where he is expected to spend 2 days, President Buhari is scheduled to visit some of the holy sites, including the tomb of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The president will thereafter proceed to Mecca late Wednesday evening to perform Umrah, otherwise called the Lesser Hajj. Umrah in the holy month of Ramadan has a lot of spiritual value for Muslims, which earn them blessings and rewards from Allah. President Buhari will use the opportunity for thanksgiving to Allah for his enormous blessings, guidance, and protection in the execution of his mandate as his tenure draws to an end.
First, that he had made it possible for him to come into office and complete 2 terms. And 2, every politician, every political leader likes to be succeeded by someone from, their own political party. Again, Lord Almighty has done it for President Muhammadu Buhari. He's been succeeded by a leader, Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from the All Progressive Congress. The significance of this is, of course, that the administration of Buhari, as it lives, is reassured of at least 2 things. One is that the major legacies of the administration will be preserved. And 2, even at personal level, safety for family and the persons, these are things that cannot be underrated. So looking at everything then, it is just apt that President Muhammadu Buhari would come here and do a thank you visit and say to his creator, you have done it for me and I'm grateful.
Already, President Muhammadu Buhari and his delegation, including ministers, traditional rulers, and religious leaders, were ushered into Rawda, where they observed the congregational Maghrib prayers. Rawda is a place of immense spiritual and historical significance. A prayer here equals in reward of 1,000 prayers. From Medina, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Adam Musambu, NTA News.
And away from Saudi Arabia now, the economic growth rate the world over is expected to fall to 2.8% in 2023, before rising slowly to settle at 3.0% in 5 years. This is part of the baseline forecast of the International Monetary Fund, released this Tuesday at its ongoing spring meeting in Washington, D.C. Mopilang Dakok reports that this is the lowest medium-term forecast in decades.
The IMF says this year's prediction is lower, given that the other major forces that shaped the global economy in 2022 seem set to continue into the year, but with changed intensities.
Instability reminds us, however, that the situation remains fragile. Once again, downside risks dominate. First, inflation is much stickier than anticipated.
The multilateral organization says to stem the tide, central banks need to remain steady with their tighter anti-inflation stance. Governments should put measures to address structural factors impeding supply, as well as take steps to strengthen multilateral cooperation.
If this year goes on as predicted by the IMF, it will be the weakest global growth since the global meltdown of 2021. From Washington, D.C., Mopilang Dakok, NTA News.
Thanks, Mopilang. Meanwhile, despite uncertainties in the global economy coupled with inflationary pressure being experienced in Nigeria, Africa's largest economy has maintained a stable economic performance in recent times. The Division Chief Research Department, IMF, Daniel Lee, stated this during a briefing at the World Economic Outlook meeting. Abolade Salami brings us that report.
Nigeria's economic recovery in 2022 financial year broadened despite contraction of oil production, increase in inflation figures, and lingering external sector pressures. The country was able to weather the storm through its monetary and fiscal policy decisions, which resulted in stable economic progression. In order for the country to tackle issues of inflationary pressure, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has suggested further tightening of monetary policy.
For Nigeria, our forecast is one of the most stable ones. For this year, we have an increase, a slight increase. We have 3.3% in 2022. That's an upward revision. And for 2023, about the same, 3.23% in 2024.
On the broader projection of the continent's economic outlook, IMF Chief Economist and Director of Research, Pierre Olivier, says the region is expected to experience a slow growth of about 3.6% in the year 2023.
A very important challenge for the region is, as a result of these elevated food prices, we have a large number of people who are in situations of food insecurities. We estimate about something like 130 million people in situation of food insecurity.
IMF says challenges confronting the region revolve around the surge in energy and food prices, one of the many consequences of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. From Washington, D.C., Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Let's now have more business reports with Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Inyare. And part of the opening conversations at the spring meetings is the push for a strategic method of financing MSMEs, particularly in developing and emerging economies, by the managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva.
We know that in emerging markets and developing economies, if the small and medium-sized enterprises are suffocated, there is simply no way to generate the jobs a growing population demands from in these countries. So that question of how we think about financing, accessibility to finance for everyone, especially for women-led business, is something that the World Bank has researched for quite some time.
And back home, stocks go red as at the end of a trading session today, a total of 1.72 billion shares in 4,286 deals corresponding to a market value of 4.78 billion naira were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 546% improvement in volume, 148% improvement in turnover, and 17% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 28.3 trillion naira. Transcorp Nigeria recorded the highest volume of 1.55 billion traded shares, followed by Zenith Bank 44.5 million and United Bank for Africa 21 million. Well, that is business news, but network news continues after this break.
Thank you for staying. The chairman of the National Population Commission, Nasser Issa Kwara, says Nigeria is taking advantage of population and demographic data to rebuild quality, gender-responsive education system to increase investment in science, technology and engineering and mathematics for its youths, especially girls. Issa Kwara was addressing the 56th session of the United Nations Commission on Population and Development in New York, United States of America. Onengie Fineface reports.
United Nations Commission on Population and Development, CPD 56th session, focuses on the theme Population, Education and Sustainable Development.
Education. It is a predictor of population health and well-being, and an important indicator of whether a pregnant woman and her infant will live or perish.
It can equip us with the knowledge and tools to safeguard the environment and to anticipate and address the negative consequences of the global warming and climate change.
United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed notes that the world needs to reimagine and transform education systems to make them fit for purpose with an understanding of demographic trends.
Education is a crucial long-term investment for sustainable development, but to succeed, decisions must be informed by an understanding of the demographic trends, and as the World Population Report tells us, we must radically rethink how we talk about population change.
Chairman, National Population Commission Nasser Issa Kwara says Nigeria is innovating policies to promote inclusive education that caters for the needs of its large population.
May I inform that Nigeria will conduct a national population housing census next month to generate quality and disaggregated demographic data that is georeference to aid the tracking of progress on investment in education and review of follow-up action on ICPD program of action and achieving the 2030 agenda.
He notes that the prospect of increasing school-age population places demand on the country for more resources to provide quality education, especially for those in difficult situations. Onengie Fineface, NT News.
Similarly, Nigeria's quest for a stronger and virile nation among its contemporaries in the international scene is achievable when the country knows its capacity and population for sustainable growth. Therefore, development planning using census database provides impetus for provision of social amenities and public infrastructure for generations. Umaru Kirawa brings the voices of experts on why Nigeria cannot afford to miss the upcoming national head count.
It is 16 years now, with countless individuals roaming the streets of Nigeria since the country got to know its aggregate population through census in 2006. With many stories left untold on the country's path to prosperity, punctuated with the good, the bad and the ugly aspects of development, and insecurity coupled with unknown figure of residents of workable age and gainfully employed or unemployed, Nigeria is projected to be the third most populous nation on earth after India and China by 2050. To solve national problems in a coherent and realistic manner, government across the globe introduced population count to determine the number of people with a view to address their socio-economic needs through careful planning.
The population census will help the Nigerian government to know the exact population and to help the government in formulating policy and programs and above all, distribution of resources.
Experts are of the opinion that according maximum support by traditional and community leaders, religious and youth groups, in addition to rural and urban dwellers, will set the country on the path to prosperity.
Population is growing every day. You need to know the number of people you are supposed to deliver that dividends of democracy to, without knowing the number, is just like shooting in the dark.
It is very, very important for the people at the grassroots level to give us all the necessary cooperation so that they can be counted.
Experts strongly believe that the 2023 census will not only reveal the total number of inhabitants in Nigeria, but will serve as yardstick for planning to arrive at decisions for effective provision of basic social amenities and address issues of poverty and unemployment. In Maiduguri, Umaru Kirawa, NTN News.
And away from the census scheduled to begin on the 3rd of next month, let's head to the National Assembly now, where the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, says investigating alleged $2.4 billion revenue loss through an alleged illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude is purely a constitutional duty and not an attempt to witch hunt anyone. This was at the commencement of the investigation into the allegations. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Ogunshola reports.
The 1999 Constitution, as amended and standing orders, empowered the House of Representatives to embark on this type of investigation. The motive is to determine the veracity or otherwise of the humongous amount alleged to have been lost from the sales of 48 million barrels of the nation's crude in China.
While it is imperative to highlight that these are unverified allegations, the onus is on the House of Representatives as a responsible house of the Nigerian people to carry out a thorough investigation to ascertain the veracity or otherwise.
The investigative hearing, therefore, is intended to give stakeholders an opportunity to shed more light on their submissions, as well as give Nigerians who might have valuable information and insights which could illuminate our investigations.
Testifying under oath, a commissioner from Code of Conduct Bureau alleged discrepancies in the amount of money acknowledged by the CBN as proceeds from the sale of crude between 2011 and 2014.
The crude oil sold in the global destination, where the money went to, the account it was paid into. This is 41 country. This book, I am going to give it to you to study it and look into it in-depthly so that you will not know what is going on in Nigeria.
The committee, however, invited Minister of Finance, the Attorney General of the Federation, and Secretary to the Government of the Federation for further briefing into the operation of the whistleblower policy. From the National Assembly, Dayo Ogunshola, NTA News.
The courtroom now, the All Progressives Congress has raised preliminary objection to the petition filed by Peter Obi and Labour Party before the Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja. The party's preliminary objection was contained in its reply to the petition filed by Peter Obi and his party challenging the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as President-elect. APC averred that Peter Obi, as petitioner, lacked the legal right to institute the petition based on the fact that he was not a member of the Labour Party, at least 30 days to the Labour Party's presidential primary. The APC maintained that the contravention, Section 77, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2022 by the petitioner denied the court the jurisdiction to entertain the matter. APC, as a respondent in the matter, was of the view that the non-joinder of Atiku Abubakar and the PDP as necessary parties was fatal to the petition. It is in the light of this that the APC is urging the Presidential Election Petition Court to strike out the petition. Now talking security, the Nigerian Army has launched a routine training tagged Exercise Peacock Bite. The move is in furtherance of the Nigerian Army's quest to keep the country united and secured. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa tells us more.
This cross-section of military and paramilitary personnel are the drivers of the new combat exercise, introduced to be run by a digital process. Soldiers of the 73 Battalion are expected to be at the front line of ensuring a tactical, strategic and innovative solutions to the complex security situation.
Suffice to mention that simulation training creates scenarios which model real-life events and responses with zero life lost. It also enables critical assessment of competencies and capabilities. Simulation has become a veritable tool for the armed forces worldwide to develop tactical, strategic, and doctrinal solutions, as well as offer users unique training experiences while saving both time and resources.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, urged officers and men to be combat ready and ensure professionalism optimally define the process of their new task.
We therefore have a great duty to entrench a purpose-built capacity amongst ourselves to ensure that as best as we can, we develop tactical, strategic and doctrinal solutions.
This is the 5th major simulation exercise conducted at the center established in 2019 to enhance the operational readiness of the Nigerian Army using simulation technology. From the Land Forces Simulation Center in Giri, Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In other news, and in the spirit of the season, wife of the President-elect, Oluremi Bola Tinubu, has distributed food items to Muslims in Abuja. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports that the gesture will be extended to Christians.
It is the last 10 days of Ramadan as Muslims intensify prayers and goodwill. The wife of the President-elect, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, used the occasion to reach out to Muslim Ummah.
It's a period of reflection, a period of devotion, a period of, cleansing, and a period of giving. Hence the need for this occasion. So they would like us to all take the time to pray for this country, to pray for President Muhammad Buhari to finish strong and for a successful transition and for our President-elect to start strong.
The gesture is extended through a delegation led by the APC national woman leader, Betta Edu. Their first point of call was the Abuja National Mosque.
The idea is to show love to Nigerians and to call on everyone to pursue peace, to pursue security, and ensure that during this Ramadan period, we actually reflect and pray for our nation, Nigeria, pray for the unity of Nigeria.
We will now pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless Nigeria, to protect Nigerians, protect our president as well as the president-elect. May he, Allah, in his infinite mercy, make the inauguration to be successful one, hitch-free.
The delegation was also at Fuad Lababiddin Mosque, where same gesture was replicated. Coming a day after Easter, the organizers say the gesture will be extended to Christians. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
President Muhammad Buhari joins family, friends and associates of Chief Emma Ejiofor in celebrating the traditional Prime Minister on his 62nd birthday. On this auspicious occasion, the President thanks Chief Ejiofor for being a pillar of support to his administration in the last 8 years, making many personal sacrifices and contributions towards the success and stability of the government. As the chairman, Board of Trustees, Amalgamated APC Support Groups, the President recognizes the passion and dedication of the statesman to the prosperous future and betterment of Nigerians through the implementation of policies and programs of the APC-led administration. Similarly, President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated the leader of the Yoruba socio-political group, Afenifere, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, on his 95th birthday, thanking God on behalf of Pa Adebanjo for the gift of longevity. The President-elect praised him for his contributions to progressive politics and good governance in the country. The President-elect particularly commended Pa Adebanjo for his leading role in the fight against military dictatorship, his pro-democracy struggles in Nadeco, and remarkable leadership within the Afenifere fold. Now let's join Lagos. Adiola is there. Adiola, what's the latest?
Well, the latest has to do with monkeypox. Since the first case of monkeypox was confirmed in Nigeria in 1971, the country has been recording series of outbreaks. It is more than 50 years now, and efforts towards ending the scourge is getting fiercer. The latest is collaboration between the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research and Canada-Africa Monkeypox Partnership Project called Camp Nigeria. Hingino John Adams will tell us more.
Monkeypox has wreaked havoc in the country, from claiming lives to leaving survivors with unwanted lasting skin changes and taking a fortune from the country's treasury. These researchers from Nigeria and others who joined the meeting virtually from Canada, US and UK are now declaring that the epidemic's devastation must end. They are using their multidisciplinary expertise to understand and address issues surrounding transmission, treatment, and vaccines.
All of these organizations will be working together to ensure that this project goes well and that the results will be something that's very useful to Nigeria.
In addition to the intellectual property deployed, is 3 million Canadian dollars donated by the international partners as research fund towards fighting monkeypox in Nigeria.
In Nigeria right now, it's only NCDC that does the testing. You can see that it's really very small. Nigeria is a big country.
Nigeria is writing its name in the book of history with the inclusion of Naima monkeypox test kit in the research which will be implemented in the global fight against the disease. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
And from health, we move over to fraud fintech banking. Customers of various banks have decried the increasing rate of fraud related to fintech banking in the country. Since the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in 2014 accelerated its efforts to deepen cashless transactions, electronic banking fraud has drastically increased. Our correspondent examines ways the public can avoid unsolicited bank withdrawal from their accounts.
Some financial experts say that in year 2018, for example, analysis shows the banking sector lost over 15.5 billion naira, with online fraud accounting for about 60% of the total, due to banks increasing investment in internet-based and technology-related banking services. Another example is fintech scams. Some bank customers who have been victims say it is rampant in the country. They have alleged that many of the fraudulent acts are committed with the connivance of bank employees.
Countless of times, minimal amounts have been taken out of my accounts, and I felt that not proper.
I was debited, and my ATM card was with me, so I don't know how the transaction was done.
Customers have continued to lament that banks have no visible precautionary measures to prevent theft and disappearance of their customers' money. However, financial analysts have offered advice on how customers on their own can safeguard their accounts and avoid unsolicited withdrawals.
Before you click any link sent to you, you should make sure it comes from the bank. Get in touch with the customer care or your account officer. And also, when you go into sites and you are asked to use your card to pay for things, make sure you verify if this site is actually legit before you do this.
Do you access your banking, your bank statement or your bank position, or make transfers through your bank using a public Wi-Fi? You may have been compromising, you may compromise your password or access code.
Respondents are of the opinion that it is high time banks improved their online security system to protect their bank database as well as customers' details from getting into the hands of hackers. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. More news will come after this break. Just stay with us.
Welcome back. The need for stakeholders in the transport sector to embrace the CNG and LNG technology vehicles as a panacea for environmental friendly vehicles have been stressed. Newly re-elected Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria President Alhaji Musa Mohammed Maitakobi made this appeal during the association's 10th National Delegate Conference held at the Army Resource Center in Abuja. Omenka Amarachuku has details.
That was the 10th written National Executive taking oath of office after their unopposed endorsement during the association's 10th National Delegate Conference. In his acceptance speech, the re-elected President Musa Muhammad Maitakobi, who is to pilot the affairs of the association for the next 5 years, appreciated members for their support and confidence in his leadership.
I thank all our members for electing me today. My election has given me more comfort that my policies and administration is accepted by you.
Minister of Women Affairs Pauline Talin, among other speakers, urged written members to continue to uphold the rule of law, unity of purpose, and embrace peace in all their affairs.
I want to enjoy the leadership of this association to begin to mount simple graphic messages around your parks as a way to educate your members and passengers alike on what constitutes gender-based violence.
I wish to thank you for the sanity that you have brought to our roads. I wish to thank you for standing by what is right, even amidst provocations.
Written constitution was also amended for the establishment of Written Women Wing. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku, NTA News.
A trailer loaded with powdered milk ran into a mosque at Suleja, Niger State. Though no life was lost in the mishap, but at least 3 persons were reportedly injured. The accident occurred around 6 a.m. Tuesday when many people had left the mosque after morning prayers. According to an eyewitness account, the trailer fell on the back section of the mosque where women and children usually observed their prayers, blocking part of the ever-busy Zuba Road close to the popular Babangida market. The trailer reportedly fell down while trying to negotiate a narrow part of the road blocked by a heap of sand. Also, the Federal Safety Corps Ebonyi State Command has confirmed the death of 12 persons at a multi-accident along Enugu-Abakaliki Expressway around 8 a.m. Tuesday. The sector commander, Uche Chukura, says the accident, which was as a result of overspeeding, involved a truck and Ebonyi State University shuttle bus. The bus had a head-on collision with a truck between the Ezilo and Ngalagu axis, leading to the death of 10 women and 2 men. The sector commander, while commiserating with the affected families, advised motorists to always avoid overspeeding and other acts capable of causing road crash. However, no student was among the casualties, as the bus was hired by a group of women for a burial ceremony outside the state. Following a road crash that occurred along Zaria-Kaduna Road and left many injured, the Zaria Unit Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps has returned valuable and cash amounting to over 5 million naira recovered at the accident scene to the owners. Tina Toro reports.
An 18-seater bus laden with passengers, jerry cans of palm oil and other goods heading to Kano from Owerri in Imo State crashed along the Zaria-Kaduna Road. The accident is attributed to a tire burst. Victims of the crash, who are in critical condition, are receiving medical attention at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Shika.
Total of 5,020,660 naira was recovered from the accident scene. The money is rightfully handed over to the relatives of the accident victims.
I left 3 of my phones at the accident scene and they have been brought back to me. We are very grateful to FRSC for safeguarding our luggage.
The Federal Road Safety Corps urges Nigerians to abide by road traffic rules and regulations for their own safety and that of others. In Zaria, Tina Toro, NTA News.
Let's take another break. Please stay. Easter season is usually a period of celebration with friends and families. For persons living with disabilities, Sir David Osunde Foundation is making sure they're not left out of the celebration and has brought them together to put smiles on their faces. Ekene Undule reports.
For years now, the Holy Family Society National Pilgrimage Center, Lugbe, Abuja, has stood as a ground of hope for persons with disabilities. Every Easter Monday, they gather here, expectant of the goodies that come with the season. And for the past 31 years, Sir David Osunde Foundation has continued to fulfill their hope with assistive materials and empowerment opportunities. Like every other year, the program commenced with a homily.
We must do good to these people. When we are blessed, we must bless others. Let us not wait for the government alone.
This year, thousands of persons with disabilities will be empowered. And for the foundation, their vision is to see advancements of these persons in various endeavors.
I think the vision for this organization is for one day that there would be a dedicated ministry for persons with disability, a dedicated ministry on the federal level and also on the state level, so that these persons can have right access to buildings, access to education.
What is happening here is a Galilee that Jesus is telling us. So we must do all we can to share what God has given us to the disadvantaged and those with disabilities.
The foundation is marking its 31st anniversary, and as the song Common Person by Burna Boy resonated at the background, it is a gentle reminder that persons with disabilities also deserve happiness. Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
Let's have a bit of sports now with Gift George as our guide.
In football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria rounded off its training tour in Antalya, Turkey, with an emphatic 3-0 victory over World Cup co-host New Zealand Tuesday evening. Super Falcons captain Onome Ebi, Jennifer Echejine and Desire Oparonezi got on the score sheet for the 9-time African champions. The competition was part of preparations for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Still talking football, Nigeria's under-17 men's football team, the Golden Eaglets, are getting set for a final training camp in Germany ahead of the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Algeria from April 29 to 19 May 2023. The Golden Eaglets won the Waffle B Under-17 Championship in Ghana. The team has so far played 9 friendly matches, winning 8 and drawing 1. Still talking football, Nigeria's under-15 men's football team, the Future Eagles, have begun camping in Abuja ahead of the Dream Team tournament in Japan. The young players in camp had their first training and screening exercise Monday evening as head coach Haruna Elerika focused on players' fitness and ball distribution.
We have our first training session, which is very okay, and we hope that in the next 10 days we'll have a very wonderful opportunity to see all these boys and get the best out of them.
The Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, has changed the training camp for the final leg of preparations for the Africa Under-18 and Under-20 Athletics Championship to Asaba, Delta State. The championship would hold from April 29 to May 3, 2023 in Ndola, Zambia. Technical director of the federation said the shifting of the venue from the High Performance Center in Abuja to Asaba is to enable the athletes train with the best of equipment which were used at the 21st National Sports Festival. Over 55 athletes have been invited to camp as the Athletics Federation of Nigeria begins the process of developing the next big stars for the country. Nigeria finished third behind South Africa and Kenya in the last edition of the championship. The invited athletes are expected to arrive at Asaba from Wednesday, 12th April 2023. With sports updates, Gifts George, NTA News.
And with sports done, we're done with the network news tonight. Many thanks for watching. And just a quick reminder that the countdown to the 2023 census is still on. The head count will be incomplete without you. Make sure you're counted. I'm Ian Region. Do have a good night.